Hi, I'm Lindsay from Writing Room, and we are here with Gayle Lynds, author of 8 spy novels, her latest novel being The Last Spymaster. Welcome, Gayle.
It's wonderful to be here with you, Lindsay.
Well, our audience is all aspiring writers, and the first thing everyone wants to know is, how did you get into writing?
Oh, of course, through the back door. I never, I never do anything in a straightforward way. I grew up loving books, and I think that's what drives many of us to want to write, because we derive so much pleasure and excitement from reading that we want to give that experience to other people. And one of the things that I discovered that was so fascinating, that after a while, after you get better and better at writing, what happens is you get the same pleasure actually from the writing itself. I get as lost in writing when I'm working on a book as I used to get lost in a book when I was reading it. It's very interesting. They're very similar.
How do you develop your characters?
I'm not sure. I think that there are several ways that people do it. And one of them, of course, is you sit down and you write a full biography for the character. And in the process of writing the biography, you learn who the character is. And you're able to live with the character and write the character. In my case, what I do is a book is a discovery for me. And as I'm writing the book and putting the character in situations in which the character is facing some kind of conflict, then the character rises to the occasion or doesn't rise to the occasion, and the manner in which that character responds tells me so much about who that character is that I learn more as I go along. So for me, it's a journey of discovery with the character.
Which comes first for you, the story or the character?
I remember Tony Hillerman was asked that question a number of years ago, and he fudged all over the place. And this was back before I was starting to write. And now I'm in the same place because it's a chicken or egg kind of thing. And with me, it can be initially a character. It can be a scene that I see in my mind, and I can't get it out of my mind. I can't tell anyone why. But that scene will all of a sudden have a character and a story attached to it. In The Last Spymaster, I came up with the character of Jay Tice, the last spymaster, before I did anything. I just knew this amazing man. And I wanted to write about him. And the story came about because of him. And sometimes it's just the story itself that comes to me first. Every book is different, so I would like to say to everyone who is particularly just starting out writing, don't make rules for yourself. It doesn't have to always be the same way. And it's important to learn what the classic laws are, rules are of writing, the 3-act structure, the 5-act structure, and that sort of thing. Learn them well, and then break the rules. Do something fresh, do something original, do something interesting. Interest me, because that's where the best writing is going to come from, and that's what's going to push literature forward.
So when you begin with these stories, because you write these really intense spy stories that go all over the world, how much research do you do, and how important is it to be accurate?
Oh, I have a newspaper background. I'm a fanatic about accuracy, and I think that research for me is an opportunity to satisfy my curiosity. And I think readers are very curious, and that's why they're attracted to books. They read because they're curious, and they want to know things, but they want to be entertained along the way. So I do a massive amount of research to entertain me, and I hope to entertain my reader.
How much suspension of disbelief do you use in your writing? And if a writer does want to use some fictional things because it just works better for their story, do you think that's okay?
Oh, absolutely, yes. We are writing fiction, or as I sometimes say, we lie for a living. And then they pay us for it. This is a deal. The willing suspension of disbelief is a really critical question. I'm glad you asked it. Very seldom do I hear anybody address that issue. You can have one major coincidence, and usually it's in the beginning of the book, and after that, the whole story structure must be logical. The basis of good fiction is logic. And if your character is not behaving logically, the reader's going to know it. And it's not our job as writers to push that character around and make the character do things that are not within the logical, the way his heart beats or his mind thinks. And you can have apparently illogical things happen in a book, but you have to lay the groundwork ahead of time in the story. And if you do that, you can get away with a lot. So You don't want to ever have a reader stop and say, wait a minute, this couldn't have happened this way. A truly successful book is a book in which the reader cannot imagine any other character in that story, in which the story is so strong and believable that you can't imagine that character of having any other experience than this. And when they are inextricably tied together, you have done your job.